Good morning. Good morning. I know I'm late, but I was trying to do all the things, y'all. So I am late, but I am here and I have way too much stuff on my table, but we're going to make our way through it. I'm actually really excited about today's project. Did I not make it in here with the. Oh, yeah, that right there. Oh, praise Jesus. I'm going to breathe for a second. Is that okay, you guys? Um, It has been a morning. If you are joining me live, if you can just say, "Hey, how you doing?" and put where you're joining from, that will be so awesome. That way I know I'm in the right place. Whether I should be on Facebook and YouTube. Oh, did I grab my phone? So I'm going to just take a few minutes to breathe. Before we get started. To be clear, this letter that Trump sent. Lord have mercy for Jesus. I'm going to go live on TikTok as well. Because if I'm going to go live, I might as well maximize my time, right? Hey, Patty, thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, TikTok. We're live. We're crafting again this morning. So what I'm doing today is last week, we were working on this clipboard here. And one of the questions was posed was, and this is a recycled paintable decoupage paper. So we applied it and then we painted. And one of the questions asked was, is there a way that you can actually paint it and not just so in the past we know that if we want something to stand out against like a dark background or something that we can decoupage the back of our paper white and then decoupage it so that the image shows up. And that's something that we demonstrated the first week of January when we did this project. I showed you guys two different ways. This one, we painted it and we let it dry and then we decoupaged it. And this one, we used like the plastic method in order to paint the back and then decoupage it. So I know that if I just want to paint the back of my paper and then decoupage it, that works, right? That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, hey Louise, what we're talking about is oh good, very good. I'm glad you found somebody. Is being able to actually paint the elements of the design and then apply it to your surface. So that's what we're going to play with today. Um, I did pull out several of the recycled paintable decoupage paper because I think you guys always see the flower because it's my personal favorite. But there are other options. So we had some that came out for Christmas, and but really they're winter, right? This is a paintable design, and you have birds and pine cones, and I always forget what these flowers are called, but you have these in there, and so and they're shaded just like the flower is. So you could paint these birds, you could paint these with a transparent color, and it would look beautiful. And you wouldn't have to do anything super technical. Like you could literally just use a transparent paint color. And there was also one, this one feels more like fall, I know, because there are pumpkins on here, but there are also birds and there's some flowers and some fruit on this one as well. And so we do have several paintable decoupage paper designs. This one probably feels more like spring. This is a paintable bloom. And these flowers are smaller scale than the one that we work with on the clipboard, and but they're all shaded already, right? And these have ribbons, and then there's butterflies sprinkled, and you could paint the butterflies as well because they also have the shading, and the highlights, which gives them volume. That's the thing that makes them look really special. So you could go in with one color, have it be transparent, and you can create something super custom. And so I did want to show you guys those designs as an option, but today we'll be using the paintable floral decoupage paper, and I've kind of already started for the sake of time. Good morning, Flea. For the sake of time, I've kind of already started. We're going to come back to this in just a minute. I'm afraid to sit that on my computer because I might hit a button. Um, so Today we're going to be working in my art journal, and y'all look, my art journal is an upcycled book. I just decoupaged the cover. This is the pressed flower masterboard decoupage paper. I decoupaged the cover of my book, and all I do is gesso my pages white, and then after they're gessoed, I can go in, right, and I can just play around um, and making stuff. And you guys, I have these papers in between my pages because it takes a long time. I generally use acrylic products when I'm working with these, and it takes a long time for it to dry. And so you really want it to dry before you start, because if you don't, then you'll end up with like this. You guys can see where I closed it, and when I opened it, the pages tore out. And I've taken the liberty of already decoupaging this ahead of time so that we can just have time to make it through everything, because I feel like I'm going to be covering a lot today. So the products I'm going to be using today specifically are the paintable floral decoupage paper, Roycycled Paintable Floral Decoupage Paper. I've also, the background, I use the classical masterboard as the background for this project. I wanted to do something warm. And so I love this paper. I really neglected to use it. There are so many like classical, mostly like classical Greek elements in this paper. And you can use all these different, oh man, I should have used that section. Sorry. You can use all these yummy bits for different things, but you can also use it just as one paper. This is a piece I cut out for the book today, and it is a repeat. So if you have a surface that's larger than the paper, you can piece it together and be able to decoupage. Lord have mercy, y'all help me. Um, a larger project. I'm also going to be using my silicone mat, which I'll show you guys in a minute, and we'll have a discussion about that. I brought out a few things, and I don't know exactly what I'm going to use. We're going to see what I'm inspired by. You guys, I love my scribble sticks. These are water soluble like crayons. So I may use those today. I did bring out my watercolors today because I feel like this is the easiest way. So like if you, we're going to talk a lot about transparent color today, and I'm going to show you guys how you can look at your acrylics and know that they're transparent, and I'm going to show you how you can take even your like regular paint and make it more transparent. But if you are like newer and you're just looking to tackle a project and you don't have a lot of stuff, just do watercolors, because you can get like 50 colors in one watercolor palette rather than having to buy like a whole bunch of colors. And then you can watercolor all the papers, and you can watercolor all kinds of things, not just these papers. I do have a Meeden watercolor palette in my Amazon shop. And it's only 20 bucks, you guys. You get 50 colors. It's $20, and you have some other goodies in there too. I bought this one from Lexi Grenzer, but that was like 2 years ago. And the last time I looked on her website, I didn't see it anymore. So that's why Meeden I feel like Meeden is a nice, accessible brand, right? They have quality supplies, but they're also accessible. So if you go to my Amazon shop, you guys can find it there. If you are on my Word on the Street channel on Facebook, you guys got a message yesterday about my Amazon shop. If you're only on YouTube, you guys, I'll put a link in the communities tab on my channel. So if you go to my channel, you look for the community, you click there, and there's a whole feed, and you can find information there. And oh Lord, you can also post there yourself, which is fun. So like if you've made a project that was inspired by something we've done together, I would love to see it. So even if you're not on Facebook, you can go and you can leave a note there. I had my charcoal is not set. It's just like a quick charcoal study I did, and I set my elbow right in it. So I'm trying to think of where I want to start. I'm going to do a couple of explanations, and then we'll start on the project. So the reason why I suggest that you guys use transparent colors is because the thing that makes these designs so beautiful and they feel like they're almost three-dimensional is the shading. So you have these really deep shadows, and then you have some lighter shadows, and you have highlight, and that's what gives it form, and that's what makes it seem like it's not just flat. And so when you use transparent colors, you're able to add color while still taking advantage of all the hard work that's already been done in this artwork, right? So when we talk about transparent colors, what does that mean? It just means colors that you can see through. So if you're like buying acrylic paint, it's super easy because the paints all have indicators telling you what they are. So there are these little squares that are on your tubes. And it's either going to be like this one is like half and half, right? You guys see that? It's like a diagonal line that's like halfway through the box. That means this is semi-transparent. And it also gives you like a swatch, Golden does, to show you just how transparent that is. So this is a semi-transparent one. And then this white, you see how the box is completely empty? It's because it's a transparent white. I love using a transparent white when I'm mixing my colors because I can lighten my colors, but it doesn't like kill them the way that opaque white does. And you'll know you have an opaque white because this square will be completely black. Oh, I have a tube right here. So this is titanium white too, same color, but the square is completely filled in, right? So this is an opaque color, which means it's solid. I can't see through it. And there's a place for opaque paint, but for what we're doing, because we want to be able to see through our paint, I'm going to be using all transparent colors today. And I don't even know if I'm going to use these colors, but I brought them. And you guys, my new favorite color, I need to buy a big tube. I'm doing a lot of pink right now. For those of you who follow my Royce Hunt art page, you guys have probably seen my universal beauties that I've been working on. I'm super excited about them. And I think the thing that makes them pop is the fluorescent pink. And I'm not using a ton, just a little bit, but it just gives their faces life. And so I'm really enjoying that. Um, so if you are new here, I'm sorry. I will introduce myself. My name is Royce Hunt Bell, and I am the founder, owner, and operator of Roycycled Treasures. At Roycycled Treasures, we empower people to be creative through quality craft supplies, instruction, inspiration, and I always forget the third one: instruction, inspiration, and encouragement. I know I'm a mess. If you want to find out more specifics, you can find me at roycycled.com. So we'll go ahead and get started. I wish I would have gotten a clamp. You know what? I might cheat. I'm going to use the clamp from my, hopefully I don't get paint on my board. Is that going to work? I think it'll work. Ah, it does work. So, and what's happening is I decoupaged this already, and the moisture is making my paint curve. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this paper off of here really quickly. And then we are going to get to the actual question, which is, can I paint my flowers with beautiful colors, right? Not just paint it the back white, and then apply it to my surface. And I think you can. And I'm going to tell you guys a secret. I haven't done this yet, so we are doing this together. You guys, welcome to my laboratory. We're going to see what happens. But I think it's going to work. I'm pretty sure. In my imagination, it works beautifully. But we're going to find out together. And I'm just sanding the excess off of here because I just did this really quickly before we came on today because I knew that we have a lot to go over and I want us to be able to finish. If you are joining me for the quick crafts, I'm doing them every day in the month of January, and this is to help kickstart our creativity. It's working for me, you guys. I'm not sleeping much because my mind is a little crazy right now. But they're not very quick is the problem. But I do want to be able to complete them though from start to finish. And so I try to do some prep work. I'm not going to sand this one because I'm going to use that little piece of paper to help it stay in that clip. Okay, so we have our surface that we're going to work on. And I literally just decoupaged the classical master boards. You guys see these little spots right here? Those are actually from the book because this happened right here. And then when this happened too. So That's not on the paper. You won't see these spots on the paper. That's just something that was behind on the book, but I kind of like it. So I'm going to set this aside so we can work on um, the other piece. If you have missed some of the lives that we've done, because today is already the 20th, like, oh my gosh, then I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel and you can go through and watch all the past classes. And I believe somebody asked if I had videos on some of those pages. I actually do on the Roycycled YouTube channel. I have some videos. I think there's two using the paintable Roycycled decoupage paper in my art journal. So you guys have already seen my cooked version. We don't want to look at that version yet. I have my silicone mat here. This is just a piece. I did not want to cut it because I cut up my last one for our experiments in the membership and I haven't bought another mat yet. So what I'm going to do is I could try to paint this now, but this paper is going to curl up and it's going to like, I don't know, it's just going to be a mess, right? So I am going to use just some matte medium and I'm literally going to decoupage this to my mat. One of the reasons why I absolutely love this mat is because nothing sticks to it. I have not found anything yet that sticks to this mat, and it comes in a roll, you guys. It's like a 15-foot long roll. So you roll out what you need and you cut it. It's fabulous. At the retreat, you guys were supposed to take those mats with you, I think. If not, we'll do it this year. You can definitely take your mats home this year. And I'm just going to mist my paper the way I always do. I just don't want to get a lot of water on my mat. And I'm literally just going to like decoupage this right to the mat. And you could try to put the, because I was thinking last night that you could try to put the medium on the back of the paper, but I feel like you'd be in the danger zone. Like you'd be at more risk to tear your paper if you try to put the medium on the back of the paper. So I feel like it's safer to just do it this way. So, and the reason why I'm doing this is a temporary fix, right? It's not going to stay stuck to this mat. I just want my paper like to be protected while I paint it. So I'm going to stick it to this mat. And I'm using a matte medium because it really does prepare my surface to be able to paint it. And if you wanted to go a step further, you could put some clear gesso over it or some watercolor ground over it, but I don't think you have to. The watercolor ground does make the surface, it does make the watercolors sit on there nicer, but I think that if you already have like a matte medium or a clear gesso in your stash, like I think you're fine for what we're doing, right? And I'm just going to dry this really quickly. And for those of you who are new to my daily quick crafts, one of the ways I'm able to stay focused and get through them is because I really don't monitor the comments super close. If you have a question and you're on Facebook, absolutely put the question. If you're on YouTube and you have a question that you really want answered, pop over to the community section and put it there. And I do like monitor the community section on my YouTube channel. And if you're on TikTok and you have a dying question, you can message me and I will answer your question. Thank you so much for the hearts. I don't know who that is. Is that Queen Airy? And so I'm just drying this because I didn't. So I'm being cheap, y'all. Like I have a whole stack of mats and I should have pulled one, but I couldn't find it. We cleaned up and now I can't find anything. And I know I have a whole stack because we used like 4 or 5 of them inside of the Roycycled Besties membership just like 2 weeks ago. I digress. Um, and so this is a big mat that I had cut, and I didn't want to cut it because I like to use them on my workspace. So I'm going to dry this enough so that I can flip this over and not have to worry about ruining this paper. So our actual, probably the biggest part of what we're going to do today is on the other side of the mat. So this is a piece that I think I'm just going to use watercolors. That's just going to be the easiest. that I already adhered to my mat last night. So I used a matte medium, and I use the matte medium because it's going to give my surface a little bit of a tooth. The matte is. Um, and so that's, I feel like that's why I can get away without having to use the clear gesso. But if you want it to like maximize your results, you could go over this with a clear gesso or with a watercolor ground if you're using watercolor. And like there's even a pastel ground, like if you're using pastels or charcoal, or even like pencils. You guys, if you're using pencils, you can use the charcoal ground, and it leaves like a really rough surface, and the pencils lay down so much pigment when you use that first. I do have a guide, although I don't have that one scheduled today. I have a guide to mediums. I think it's on my Facebook page, but I'm not sure. I will post it. I'll post it inside of the Word on the Street channel afterwards. And then on YouTube, I will post it in the community section. And I do have another guide that shows you like how to paint the paintable papers. And you can put hashtag map on Facebook and you'll get that guide automatically sent to you. I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about options with your paint, because if you use a transparent paint, the color just comes out. The clarity of the color is just more. Like it's really transparent. When you use regular paint, you add a medium, which is an option, just know that your color is going to be a little like cloudier. So you don't have the clarity that you have when you use transparent paints that you get when you use, a regular paint and you've added like a clear medium to thin it out to make it transparent. So both are beautiful, right? I mean, they both look beautiful. And if I hadn't pointed it out, you may not have even noticed. So it's an option, but I prefer using the transparents because I prefer having that really pretty clarity when I'm painting. And this is not a recycled paper. This is actually a paint inlay from IOD. And you guys see it's the same premise. Why, if you don't have my guide, know that it's not just for the paintable papers. It's for a lot of these are etchings, because back in the day they didn't have 5011 colors. So they actually use like physical etching on plates in order to communicate shadows and highlights. And so a lot of the products that we use historic photos or historic images. And so whether it's a transfer, a paint inlay, or one of my decoupage papers, the premise is the same. You can just paint these with a transparent color and you let you let the artwork do all the heavy lifting as far as the shadows and the highlights. So I just wanted to show that really quickly. And now we can get started. So I have this one and it's adhered to my mat, right? And I'm going to just paint it. It's adhered on here. This is tissue paper. So if I just painted it by itself, it'd be a hot mess, I think. So, but because it's adhered to my mat, I can paint it and it's going to stay there. Hopefully, we're going to see because I don't know, because this is an experiment, right? Oh man, I didn't get clean water today. I'm fired. What color are we painting this today? It's spring, right? I feel like I painted it pink last time though, but it was kind of an orangey pink. Let's just go for pink pink. Is Melissa? Melissa's probably not here. One of my friends is harassing me because ever since I had a granddaughter, I've been using a lot of pink. It's like I'm not even doing it on purpose. It's like a subconscious choice. And I'm just gonna put I am like, you guys can see. I am like taking like several different kinds of pinks and I'm kind of mixing them together to make my own pink that I want. And I'm probably going to continue to mix the whole time I'm painting, just because I like having variations when I'm working on stuff. And I'm using this is not an expensive brush. It's just a little janky craft brush, right? I mean, you can use a nice brush if you want, but you don't have to. And I'm going right over this, and I just have the matte medium on here, and it's beading up just a little bit, but not very much. But if you want to have the paint sit on there without beading up at all, using a clear gesso really does help a lot. And I do still like to go along like in the direction that the image is going, um, even though it's transparent and nobody probably knows. I feel like it matters. And I can go in here with another brush if I really want it. I always like to leave a few like really high highlights. And so I'm going to pull a little bit of that paint off of just a couple of areas. You don't want like a ton of super like white highlights because then they're not special anymore. So can you guys hear me? Oh my gosh. I didn't even have my mic on. Are you guys able to hear me? You guys let me know because I forgot to put my mic on. I'm fired. Because I just went over a whole lot of information. So I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to go and just pull out a couple of highlights down here. And this brush is just picking up the paint because it's dry. But I mean, you could use something else too, but I have big old fingers. So if I go in there with my fingers, I'm just going to make a mess. Whoops, I painted over right there, but let me get that off of there. But you guys see how you're able to add color and you have like all this form and movement in this flower. And you can add whatever color you want. I should have done red, huh? Because we're close to Valentine's Day. And I'm doing a super simple version today, but if you wanted to, you could go in with multiple colors, right? Maybe you wanted to go in and add some yellow close to the middle and have it be more pink as it comes out. I don't know. You can just be as simple or as complex as you want, but you're still going to have something that's beautiful. And because my paper is adhered to this mat, I don't have to worry about it, um, you know, getting damaged. I'm not being super rough with it, but at the same time, I'm not being like really, I don't know. I'm not being like super careful either, I guess. I'm looking for a little bitty tiny brush. I'm going to go in here and put some yellow, I think. And we painted this flower together for our clipboard last week. But it was already decoupage. So if you're new to Roycycled and you're like, what on earth is she doing? This is a paintable decoupage paper. And normally I decoupage or collage the paper on my surface first. and then I paint it. But today we're experimenting with painting it first and then adding it later. So that is what we're up to today. And I'm thinking I should have put, I'm going to put a little bit of matte medium over here. I don't want to put it in my paint because I don't want to get any in my watercolors. So I'm going to put a little bit of matte medium to the side, and I'll just paint over everything when we're done and heat set it so that when I go to decoupage it, I don't have to worry about my colors bleeding. I just thought about that right now. Um, and so I did yellow in there. So let's do some different colored greens on our leaves. Can I zoom in a little? I guess, Chris. Hold on 1 second. With this new program, I'm not able to zoom like I was with Switcher Studio. I have to do it physically, but yes, I can do it though. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm mixing my green. I'm gonna start light. And same thing. I'm just gonna lay these. That's kind of a chartreuse, isn't it? I did put a lot of yellow in there though. And again, if I wanted to like really maximize my highlights, I could just go in to where, and I am not guessing. Like when I say the highlights, they're already there. Any place where it's balls, where there aren't any lines, that's where the highlights are. So like I don't have to guess. There's no guesswork. It's all mapped out already. And so anywhere where I don't see any lines, I can go in. I don't think I'm gonna do all of them. I think I'm just gonna do the ones on this side over here. Um, and this is what I love about the watercolor, because I can go in and pick up different greens every time. And I don't need to spend a ton on a bunch of paint because I have like all these colors right here. Whoops. I got a little carried away, but it's okay. We'll be able to fix that. And I'm just going in and picking up different colors each time, because if this were a plant, like all the leaves wouldn't be exactly the same color, right? So adding variation just makes it, I don't know, nicer. And you guys see how quickly I got that done? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Oops. That green seems kind of weird, doesn't it? Like it doesn't belong in there. I'm going to fix that. So this green is really bright, and so it's not really driving with everything else, but I'm just going to pick up a little bit of pink and mix it with that green. It's going to neutralize it a little bit, and it's also going to make it feel more cohesive because there's a little bit of that pink that's in the flower in the green now. Because there would be some leaves that would be darker. I want to use my nice brush, but I told myself I was going to use this brush because I don't want you guys to feel like you need to go out and buy anything special to be able to use these papers. Seriously. Okay. And so I'm just going to paint the one big flower because of time. But look at how pretty that is, right? And like all I did was literally just lay down some transparent paint. But all the heavy lifting, all the shading, all the highlights is all done for me. So even though I just added that color, it's absolutely beautiful. And now we're just going to take this and we're going to add it to our art journal, which is the question. Can we paint it and then add it? Oh, wait, let me go through and add. I'm going to go through and add some matte medium. I just want to make sure that this color isn't going to run when I decoupage. So I'm just going to put down this to set it. And I don't know that it wouldn't run or it would run, but I don't want to take any chances. And the cool thing about this too is it dries really fast because you're really not putting that much product on here. And see, I'm getting pink. I'm picking up pink. So that would lead me to believe that my assertion is right. And this product is clear. I'm literally just putting it on here so that I can dry it and it will set the colors so they won't run when we go in to decoupage it into our art journal. If you are just popping on, we're doing an experiment today to see if we can paint our recycled paintable decoupage papers first and then adhere them to our project. And so I have used some acrylic matte medium and attached this to my matte. And now I'm painting it. And then we're going to dry it and we're going to attach it to my art journal. Although I'm feeling like this was a success. Like, what could go wrong from here? I shouldn't say that, huh? I guess we'll see. I have a little bit of color out there, so I'm just going to put it on here. Now that the reason why I didn't want to, because I was going to add some matte medium to my color here, but the reason why I was hesitant to do that is because I didn't want to take my brush with matte medium and brush it onto my watercolor palette, because I'm not trying to set my whole palette, right? Just the colors that are on here. But now that I'm only using this, I can, because I'm not going to go back into my palette after dipping into here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color to this one. She's looking lonely. She's looking lonely and left out over here. Oh, Lord, I got a little carried away. And I still have some green over here on my mat. So I'm going to put a little bit of that matte medium on my brush and pick that up. And then we'll just paint that. Okay. I'm actually able to manipulate this quite a bit. I'm kind of pushing it a little bit just to see if any weak spots are forming, but I'm not seeing anything. Very interesting. Okay. We're going to dry this and then we're going to cut it out and apply it to my art journal. And we're going to see what happens. I'm sure there's going to be some changes in the paper, right? It's going to feel a little thicker than normal. But I don't think it's going to impact the paper's ability to adhere. But it may change the property of the paper a little bit. Because I don't know if you guys will notice, but like if you're decoupaging with like a black and white design, that has a lot of white in the background, the paper almost feels lighter than if you have a really saturated design. And it's because the ink, right? When you're talking about the weight of this paper is so light, it doesn't take much to make it heavier, I guess is what I'm saying. And I don't have to worry about this mat with the heat because it's fine with heat too. And if you guys are looking for where to find your Roycycled decoupage paper, you can find it at roycycled.com. I do want to show a short video, you guys, while I'm drying this, because, watching paint dry is not exciting. And then we'll talk about it when we come back. I do want to, well, we'll talk about it when we come back. 48 seconds, you guys.
If you've been craving time just for you, time to create, to breathe, to reconnect with who you are, I want to personally invite you to the 2026 Roycycled Besties Retreat. We're gathering in beautiful downtown Safford, Arizona for 3 days of creativity, connection, and rest. All your creative supplies are provided, breakfast and lunch are taken care of, and you'll even receive exclusive recycled retreat only goodies. We are already over halfway full, so if your heart's been whispering maybe, this is your moment to say yes. Click the link to claim your seat. I would love to meet you here.
If you guys are interested in finding out more information about the Recycled Besties Retreat, if you're on Facebook, you can put hashtag retreat and you'll get an instant message. If you are on YouTube, let me give you a QR code. And you can use the QR code to find more information about the retreat. And we are like, oh, one huge, really important thing is I offered a payment plan so you could make 3 payments in order to pay for it. And tomorrow is the last day to take advantage of that because we're going to be 3 months out, like in a couple of days. Kind of crazy. So I can't do it past 3 months, right? Because the event is in 3 months. So tomorrow is the last day to take advantage of the payment plan if you wanted to use that as an option to buy your ticket to the retreat. And so I think we're all dry now. So I'm going to peel this off because again, nothing sticks to this mat. So even though I use the medium to stick it, I'm able to peel it right off. And the one thing I'm curious about is because I do want to trim some of the paper off of here. So I'm curious to see, we use the brush method, the wet brush method to tear the paper a lot. But when it's just the tissue paper, it's super easy. So I don't know if this is going to be like way more resistance or not. Because I do like having that organic deckled edge when I'm decoupaging. And so I'm curious to see if I can still get that after I've added this medium. It's not the same. So that's something to note that if you do this, and the reason why is because the paper is no longer absorbent or as absorbent as it was before. So anything we do is just sitting on top of that medium. So I'm not going to be able to use the wet brush method to cut this, but that's fine. We'll improvise. But it's just a note to take, right? Like if you do this, just know that. So if you want a specific portion of the paper, you may want to make the decisions and cut your paper ahead of time before you adhere it to your mat. And I was thinking last night, like if parchment paper would work. I think parchment paper would be hard because based on what I know, right? When this paper dries, it would pull up your parchment paper. So I guess you'd have to tape your parchment paper down. That would be one thing. And then the second thing is parchment paper is nonstick, but it's not always completely nonstick. I've had issues before. with it sticking to stuff. So you can try it, but I can't guarantee the results for that. Are they honking at me? So I'm literally just tearing this because I still want an organic edge on here. I don't want a really sharp edge. And there's nothing wrong with the sharp edge. Sometimes, like when I did my label on the can, I wanted it to look like it was a label sticking on there. So the sharp edge was fine. But when I'm trying to blend something into the background, the organic edge is a lot easier to blend than a really sharp edge. And honestly, if I would have chosen a white background, this would have been a lot easier to blend. I just made things complicated for myself, y'all. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. The heck? Okay, so I painted it and now I have this medallion that I can apply to my surface. That's actually kind of cool. This is why I love when you guys ask questions, because then we find out more. I know I talk about it every day. It's because A, I'm excited about it, and B, we still have seats left that are available. And I really want people to come. Like, I know it's my event, but it is such a blessing. Such a blessing. Every time I go through the reviews, I tear up all over again. Um, because of the number of people that were blessed who came last year. And now I was telling the ladies in my membership, I'm like stressed because I got to top what I did last year. Sometimes when you set a high bar, you know, I don't want to lose my lady right there. So maybe I think I'm gonna take this off. Well, let me see. I'll do like that. That way I don't have to lose my lady. I'll do like this, and then I'll take this piece that I'm gonna tear off. And I'll bring it over here. That way, you know, I have a little bit of something on that side. And maybe I should bring this piece down here. No, I like it like that. And I'm just going to use my matte medium to both adhere this and to seal it on my paper. Generally, when I'm working in my art journal, I'm using acrylic products or my watercolors, but you don't have to. If all you have is water-based varnish, you can use that too. Just know that the varnish is smoother so that the first coat of paint may like bead up on the surface a little bit. But you let that dry and then you can go back in. Okay, so that leaf is just misbehaving. Okay, I think right there is where I'm going to put it, and then I'll just put that leaf up there. Oh, no, I can't. I got to put it right here because I tore my leaf already. Okay, so I'm going to go in, and another thing is I don't know how much more transparent this background is going to get, right? Because it's already full of product. So we can do this, but there are things that we need to think about. It's not a deal breaker though. It just means it's something that we need to consider. So I'm gonna put this on here. I don't think I need to mist my paper because my fibers are like locked in now because they're full of the medium. So it's not gonna respond to my medium when I go to lay it down. You guys know what I mean? So usually with the regular tissue, with the tissue paper that doesn't have anything on it, the fibers in the tissue paper are expanding when they come into contact with the moisture. This paper is already expanded, and we kind of locked it in place with the matte medium. So it's not going to respond anymore. So I don't have to worry about misting it before I decoupage. So I've created a medallion that I can just glue on. And you can also use is it Yes paste, the Yes glue, or a glue stick. I just collage and decoupage everything because that's how I function. But you don't have to. You can use a glue stick to do this. I don't know. I wouldn't use a glue stick like for this background because I really want that to be adhered really, really well. But I think for this, it would be fine. And you guys saw that I was super generous with my medium. Honestly, the paper feels like thicker. Um, if I had my gel medium here, I would probably use it. Not like a heavy gel. I don't think it needs to be super heavy, but the gel medium just has a little bit more body. And so I would probably have used it if I had it out here, but I don't. So we are going to make it work. I think I have some heavy body gel out here, but that's too heavy. Are they both heavy body? I should look. So it does change the character of the paper. Like it doesn't feel like tissue paper anymore. It's a little stiffer. Um, Not horribly, but just know that if I were doing this again, I would either use some Yes paste or gel medium to adhere it. I would feel more confident, I think, if I had used those products rather than the matte medium. And if I had used white paper, this would be a lot easier to blend in. See, I made it hard for myself. But, oh, we have this one. Let me see. I want to see. I have some heavy body gel. This is the only gel medium I have out here. I don't think I need heavy body gel, but I'm curious to see if I should mix this with a little bit of the matte medium. If I think I'm going to feel better about using something with a little bit more body to adhere this paper, I guess is what I'm saying. This better not be glossy. I'm gonna be mad. We'll see. I mean, I can always go back over it with my matte gel. I mean, with my matte medium, but I think it's gonna be glossy. Matte. I do like the way that it like adhere to the surface right away. Using the heavy body gel. I don't think you need heavy body gel. I think you can just use regular gel medium. But it just feels better than with the liquid matte medium. So I'm going to dry all this and then, but I think our experiment was a success. What do you guys think? It's just there's some things we need to think about, right? Yeah, you could wet cut and fussy cut before you did this process, and then that way you would have exactly what you wanted. I just didn't think that far in advance. Honestly, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I still needed to do an email. I had all my emails mapped out for the month, and then I changed my mind about what I wanted to do, and now I'm trying to play catch up. So I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning. You guys, we are doing a launch of our new designs right now, and so my life is absolute chaos. I got up this morning took the baby to school, took 3 loads of packages to the post office, went to the warehouse, packaged some orders, ran home, gobbled down some food, and now I'm here with you guys. And then I'm going to run back to the warehouse, packing up the last of the orders because I want them all to go out today. I want my retailers to have paper in hand, the ones who participate in the pre-launch, by Sunday. And for everyone else, I think I'm going to be able to get everybody else's out tomorrow. So, but I do guarantee that my retailers who participate in the pre-sale that they'll get their papers before we actually launch. And we will be showing the new papers on our Sunday night crafting and chatting at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that'll be here on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok. And if you guys are on TikTok, you can hop over to either YouTube or Facebook to watch if you want. I'm just really pushing that down. I did not want it to curl up on me. I feel a lot more confident with this one using the gel medium. I do want to show you guys something really quickly. If you're working in your art journal, or even if you're working like on a canvas, because you guys can use this tissue paper to collage with, right? So if you're doing a mixed media piece and you want some collage, there are a lot of options in the Roycycled Decoupage line for you to be able to use for that purpose. I actually use a lot of the papers to collage my canvas before I start working on my pieces. I am going to use my heavy body gel to float out the edges of this paper. And if you guys have ever done any kind of like, I don't know, spackling, you know, using that dorm room when you left a hole and you had to patch it, you know, and then you have to spackle the edges so that when you paint it, you can't tell. That's what we want to do here. So I'm just, and you don't have to. I mean, if the edge doesn't bother you, then you don't have to worry about it. But if it does, you can just like float out your edges, just like you would with spackle. And this is just some heavy body gel that I'm using, and I'm going right over the edge of this paper so that when I go in with my other products, that edge will just virtually disappear. So other than the color, that's the only way you can tell that there's an edge there. If I had used a white background, you wouldn't even be able to tell. But I used a warm one. So I created a bit of problem for myself. Now for me, I love texture. So I'm going to bring that texture like all the way into my piece. And I also think it looks better because it's not like you only have medium around the edge of something, because that almost screams that you're trying to camouflage it. Know what I mean? So just kind of scratch over the surface. And I'm just like floating it out. So in my imagination, it's like heavier around the edge, and then it's getting thinner and thinner as it comes further and further out. And then I can add some medium in other places. So it just feels like the whole thing is textured and not just the areas where I'm trying to conceal the edges. And this product is clear, so it's going to dry transparent. I wanted to do something in the art journal because I want you guys to know that you can use the recycled decoupage paper in your mixed media art. Absolutely. And we've already talked about mixed media art doesn't just have to live in your art journal. It can live on whatever you put it on. Clipboards, um, cutting boards. I did a sap bucket a couple of months ago, a few months ago now, because that was the last release. And then your artwork can live in your space and you can interact with it every day. I just feel like that is the ultimate. I should go ahead and put this on there now while it's all wet with medium. This is just a label off of another design. I want to say this is off of the label Masterboard. And I had it sitting here, so why not use it? And that medium is still wet, so I'm just going to use it to adhere my label. And let's dry all this. And then we are not going to have time to really, let's see, what time is it? I'm trying to behave because I need to get back to the warehouse. But now I'm all into this project, so we'll see what happens. Um, I mean, we're going to get everybody's stuff out. It's good. It's all good. The holiday yesterday. Um, don't do that. Don't start drying and then start meddling with it. Once you start drying, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. That's how my head works. All day long, you guys, every time somebody says something, a song comes into my head. It's absolute mayhem up here. So tomorrow, you guys, we're gonna do a series of art blocks for Valentine's Day starting tomorrow. I learned my lesson from the 3 books in the book stack, not to try to do all 3 in one day. So every day we're gonna do one art block, and I'm gonna be using. Hold on, I'll show you guys. I think these are 4x7. I have these 4x7 wood blanks that I found on Amazon, and so this is what we're going to be using to build our art blocks on. And I'll be focusing on Valentine's Day, but y'all know me, it's not going to be like Valentine-y. I don't know. It's probably going to be like grown folks Valentine's Day. I am completely out of frame on my other. Oh, Lord. The only thing I don't like about that dang gel is it's shiny. So I'm gonna want to go over. I'm actually probably gonna go over everything with clear gesso. Oh, one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about. Hey, Kelly. The one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about after we did our clipboard. Did I get anything on the clipboard? I almost forgot it was there. We can talk about it while this dries because that's still pretty wet. Let me hold on. Oh no, actually. Uh, this specific gel is shiny. I have a matte gel like that I would prefer to use for this rather than a shiny. If you like shiny, then it'd be perfect for you. But if I had used my matte gel, I would have just been able to do this and be done. But that is not the case now. Now I have to go over it with something else. Let me go over this with some gesso real quick. And this is clear gesso. And what this is going to do is give my surface like a tooth so that I'm able to apply more products. I'm going to go back to our clipboard and it is relevant. So, and we're going to talk about clear gesso. You guys know how sometimes you're working on a mixed media project and your surface almost gets to a point where it stops accepting more product. You guys know what I mean? Like you try to add more and it just nothing happens because the surface is like done. It's not going to accept anything else. And you can get to that point. And the way that you can fix it is to go over with clear gesso, and that can really help that. So I'm going to set this aside. We're not going to have time to work on this anymore, but we did do our experiment, right? So we were able to, the question was, can I paint my flower, or can I paint it not just like white paint on the back, but can I paint something beautiful and then apply it to my surface? And so the way that I showed you guys today, you absolutely can. There are just some things to consider. Um, these are the things that I remember us learning. If you guys remember anything else, you can put them in the comments. Make sure that you cut your piece out exactly the way you want to use it, right? Unless you're going to be okay like using scissors and fussy cutting it, I think it would be fine. But if you're wanting an organic edge or a deckled edge, then go ahead and do that before you adhere it to your mat, and with the gel medium. I mean, with the matte medium. Two is it is a little bit thicker after you add the matte medium and peel it off of your mat. And so you probably want to use a decoupage medium that has a little bit more body. I know that Pint Art's decoupage medium has a little bit more body to it. You can use a soft gel that has a little bit more body to it, or even like Yes Paste. That would be good too. Or a permanent glue stick would be good to adhere that. Um, C, your background is not going to go transparent the way that it does when you just decoupage it. You know how usually we spray the paper and then we decoupage it and it goes transparent? Um, that's not going to happen once you put the matte medium in the paper. So that's just stuff for you guys to think about. I don't think it's a deal breaker. It's just things for you to consider as you're working through your project. But I do feel like this is really pretty. I do want to go in kind of around my edges with some warm white just to kind of blend them in a little bit. But other than that, like this background paper did a really good job of supporting this. And the background paper that I used was Roycycled's classical masterboard decoupage paper. And then we used the paintable floral decoupage paper to cut this piece out of. And then this is from the Labels masterboard paper. And so we were able to build this. I think it's pretty simply. And you could do your medallions ahead of time and just save them. Now, the one thing is I'm going to have to leave this book open and let it dry for a really long time. And when I close it, I'm probably going to put a piece of tissue in there just to make sure that everything doesn't stick together and I don't ruin my spread. You guys know I want to go in and go around my edges and grunge it up and stuff, but I gotta get back to the warehouse. So I'm gonna put this over here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this piece. I think it's funny. So when I was working on this piece, I wanted my background to be darker, but I kept trying to go in with the water, with the water soluble crayon, and it wouldn't lay down any more pigment for me. And what happens is that this surface is just full of product. Like it's not going to accept anything else. And so if I wanted to make this like a deeper color, which is what I did, by the way, on my other project that I did, is I went in with some clear gesso and I let that dry. And then when I come back in, it's like working on a fresh surface all over again, even though you can still see everything that's underneath the gesso. So that is a trick. If you guys run into that when you're doing mixed media, and you feel like your surface won't accept any more product, try adding some clear gesso, and that can help you have like a fresh start to be able to add additional things. Um, Clear gesso seems to be the saving grace if you paint before the decoupage. Honestly, I didn't use any clear. Did I use? I didn't use any clear gesso on today. I used it finally like on the last coat, but all I did was matte medium. So this is a matte medium, and this matte medium is by Liquitex. And usually you guys know I don't usually talk about like brands too much because I like to encourage you guys to use what you have. But Liquitex matte medium is my all-time favorite. It is my absolute favorite. And so um, this is what I use to adhere it to the matte. And so because it's matte, you do have enough tooth on your surface for your paint to lay down pretty good. If you like, this is good, right? The clear gesso is better. It's a nice generic surface for anything that you're doing, whether it's acrylic paints, watercolor paints, anything that you're doing. If you want the best right? You can be like super specific depending on products that you're using. Like Daniel Smith makes a transparent watercolor ground. Like if you're going to be using watercolor paint, like this is the best option, right? So we have good, better, best. None of it's bad. If you're going to be doing like charcoal or even like colored pencils, a pastel ground is really good because it's transparent, but it leaves like a really rough surface. So when you're using your pencils or your charcoal, like it scratches off a lot of pigment. And I do have a guide, you guys, specifically for acrylic mediums. And if you go to roycycled.com and you look up, you'll see resources. You can click resources. And I think there's like 5 or 6 guides on there. And I believe my guide to mediums is on there because you can find guides to kind of maximize um, and and again, that's best, right? So it's good, better, best. I think the matte medium is good. But if you want better, the clear gesso. If you want best, then you want a ground that's specific to the product that you're using. So that is all I have today, you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate your time. My grandmother used to always say, you can make more time, but you can't make more money. So when you guys spend your time with me, I really, really appreciate it. If you are looking for recycled papers, you can find the papers and or the retailers who carry them at roycycled.com. If you guys like the way I teach, check out my courses at roycycledacademy.com. I have a decoupage with confidence course. I have a texture masterclass. Um, there is a fabric painting masterclass. It's on there. And those are all courses that are available on my site. And if you want to come and learn from me in person, come to the retreat. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so good. I'm so excited. I have meetings all next week with all my vendors and people so we can start getting everything really pinned down and in order. When I go to do my walkthrough for the space, I'll bring you guys with me. That way you guys can see the space. But that is it. You guys have a blessed day. And you guys remember experimentation, playing, that's where the discovery happens. And if it doesn't work out, you still learn something. So give yourself permission to play, give yourself permission to experiment. Where experimentation goes, you guys, creativity follows. Thank you so much. You guys have a blessed day. And I will see you same place, same time, same channel tomorrow. Goodbye.